7th grade. This video is just to give you an overview of what I intended to present to those that entered the Google Classroom. Other students that had entered the classroom had questions about when the quiz was due, when the project was due, what's the format of the quiz, what's the format of the project, and other things. But in general, the project is due May 17th by midnight. Next week, there will not be any CK12 lessons, no Desmos activities, no worksheets posted. It will just be project details and additional problems that you can look at for the quiz, depending which one you chose. Also, on Sunday night, students that chose the quiz or also didn't choose a project will be sent a quiz through CK12 via Google Classroom, and you will also have a Google document or a Google form with IB questions to answer. You will have it posted on Sunday, but it will be due the following Sunday by midnight. Okay, let's take a look at how do the criteria fit within the project. So this first criteria is presentation. Presentation means the introduction, the aims, what you're trying to ask in the project, how it's organized, and make sure to have a conclusion. So I did have an introduction. I did have graphs and tables to accompany the project. The project was very organized. It had a conclusion, but it did not describe the aim. It didn't have questions listed that I would answer in the project. So you could make it better in that way. Second criteria, mathematical communication. Well, I used graphs. I used many tables, and I also used calculations within those tables, and I explained what those calculations are here. That's how to find the ratio. But I did not at all define key terms and variables. And so when you look at the graded, I think I gave myself a 3 on this one because I didn't define what is an equation model, what is a constant multiplier, what is this ratio, what do those represent? Be very clear about those. And then the last thing that I did, I had an equation, but I did not mention the domain. So that domain, I'm trying to spell with this one. The domain is missing. So that is something that needs to be entered into yours. The next criterion was personal engagement. In general, I would say I engaged in this pretty well. I tested the model in 2 different ways. I used data from the beginning and later. And then I also made some predictions. And I made a prediction of time, and I also made a prediction of how many cases. And this question, how many cases will there be on June 1st, which is less than a month away, to predict that there's 104,000 people that will be infected, well, mathematically, yeah, that makes sense. You can see the work. It's calculated in Desmos. Desmos doesn't lie. It's true, but it's unrealistic. If there's only 21,000 roughly people in the county, that tells us that it's going to happen before June. The highest amount of people that can be possibly infected is 21,000. So that was unrealistic. And then the fourth criteria, or yes, that fourth criteria, or was that the fifth? Nope, fourth criteria was the reflection. Yep, I wrote a conclusion, but I did not at all talk about what I learned, what limitations I encountered, or what challenges I had, because I did have some challenges in that. And how does it affect me personally? Why is this important to me? So add those pieces to your project, please. And then lastly, use of mathematics. I used an equation model. I explained my work. with the constant multiplier. I adjusted the model so that furthers my depth in creating that equation model. I also tested the model to make sure that it fit, and I did it at the beginning and at the end. I showed my work in Desmos, and I also showed my work in the graphing calculator. So that concludes how these criteria showed in our project. Thank you for watching.